It's your girl Sophia, and welcome to another episode of Hey You, Let's Talk. Tonight I'm joined by three phenomenal women, Aisha Paul, Genevieve Harris, and Angie Brady, as we discuss everything sisterhood. Tonight episode is coming from Scripture, First Thessalonians. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. So tonight we are going to encourage you, build you up in friendship. So come along this journey of Hey Girl, Let's Talk. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, AJ Weldon and Assemble, 20 years of experience in this game of assembling new plant and maintaining it. Another shout out goes out to Luz Foundation, which is a community builder, a visionary, and a survivor. Follow her on all of her Instagram today at Luz Foundation Inc. And Sensational Faces. We're going heavy on the Mystic Spray. I'm a heavy user of this spray. So follow her today. Order yours today at Sensational Faces. And let's get into the show. It's your girl Sophia. Listen, I'm super excited. We're tackling sisterhood, friendship, motherhood, everything that you can imagine. So, hey, girl, let's talk. I have three great women by my side today. Each one of them plays a very special role in my life. Listen, let me first introduce Genevieve is in the building, a strategy builder. My girl Angelique, she take care of all the healthy issues that you need. And my girl, my sister, Aisha. Listen, entrepreneurs, all of them are divine women. So today we're tackling the sisterhood portion. So Genevieve, let's start with Genevieve. What does sisterhood mean to you?
Oh, sisterhood. Sisterhood is making sure that you know the value that you bring to that sisterhood and then not being intimidated or not trying to compete with another sister, but trying to see where they may be weak and how your strength can build them up.
Listen, we're building up, we're building up. So Angelique, tell us, what does sisterhood mean to you?
Sisterhood to me is support. I think that's very, very big, and just knowing how to communicate. Although sometimes your sisters, you kind of clash in certain ways. So I think for me, those are the two biggest things that stands out for sisterhood.
And Miss Aisha.
Sisterhood means unity
Yeah.
to me. Just one. Just coming together as one. When I think of sisterhood, I think of unity.
Listen, we got some key points, baby. We ready to tackle. So let's start. Hey, girl, let's talk. Let's talk about prayers. You know, it's very important as sisters. We need to find friends who can pray for us through no matter what we're going through. So, and Aisha, how is it important for you to have a friend who can pray for you?
It's very important to have a friend to pray for me. I feel as if when a friend prays for me, she's holding me. He or she is holding me, but she's holding me dear to her heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very important for me to have a sister to pray for me.
Angelica?
Prayer to, as far as for sisterhood, is very important. I think it gives you some guidance. It opens up your eyes to certain things that you weren't aware of. It gives you kind of good prosperity.
And my favorite, listen, Genevieve gonna bring you the word. Tell us. That's a bad head to a little minister, okay?
Listen, I think that when we talk about praying and when we're talking about sisterhood, based on what my sister said tonight or today, is that we got to be in a place where we can communicate what our issues are that we even are struggling with.
Right.
And I think a lot of times sisters have that fear sometimes of articulating what they need prayer for.
Yeah.
And so for me as a sister, I'm usually watching more than I'm asking because I'm like, if you can't, you may not be telling me I'm struggling with depression or I'm struggling with the way that I feel. But if we all want to go somewhere and you're like, I have nothing to wear, and we know you have something to wear, then maybe I should be praying about like what's really going on and what are you hiding behind that you don't want people to see you.
Right.
And so I think that that's kind of when we talk about our prayers, that it's like our communication with each other and then saying, I think my sister needs a little bit more. Let me take that thing to God. Right?
Yeah.
So
Listen, that's a whole
that's true.
word. Take it to God.
Mhm.
And for me, prayer is very important. I have a motto. If I could have 5 friends who can pray for me, we can't be friends. Because as you say, if you know you're going through something, my friend should be able to say, listen, this ain't Sophia today.
yeah.
She's always smiling, something
Mhm.
is
Something's
wrong.
Mhm.
But then again, we still have to be careful
what they're praying for.
Mm-hmm.
Because every good prayer now is good prayer. So then it comes with trusting that that person is praying for the right thing for you.
Yeah.
So how do we understand about trust and friendship? Anyone?
Trust is very big. Trust is very hard. I feel that, oftentimes you can lose trust and it's hard to regain it.
Yeah.
But it is extremely important because if you can't trust the person that you're speaking to, you won't open up like the Pandora's box.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust is. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, trust is very, very important to me. Without trust, there's no foundation in a friendship or just anything.
Yeah.
Friendship, co-worker, relationship, anything. So trust is extremely, extremely important to me.
And I think that what they're saying is so valuable because it's like, how do I expect for you to pray for me and I can't be vulnerable with you? Right? Like, I'm not going to tell you something and I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to believe that you're going to have my best interest because we're talking about PRAY, but we know that PREY.
Right.
And that has a lot to deal with a lack of trust, right? Because if I told you something in confidence and now the streets know everything, I can't trust you. And so I'm not going to ask you to do anything else with me. So that's very true.
Well, listen, we just tap into trust. So guess what? We're coming back with a, hey girl, let's talk. Betrayal. This is heavy because I've suffered betrayal from women and the women that I trusted. And they did something I can talk about because I've overcame it. These women prayed for me when I was down. So it took a while for me to build back that trust because I was dealing with betrayal. Like, how can you say you love me and you're my friend and you're all for me, praying for me, but you betrayed me? So how do you, as women, Genevieve, handle betrayal?
Honestly, what because what happens is we come together, and even in settings like this, we come together and we try to sound so profound, but when we're actually trying to get some help, we need to be honest with ourselves. And when people betray you, it's very difficult to get over because the only real way to test someone is to trust again.
Right.
So, if I feel real hurt because you betrayed me, the only way to see if you're better is to trust you again and put you back in a position where hopefully you don't make the same decision as you made last time. And so that requires a lot from us to get back to a place that we will even allow ourselves to see that person in the same light that we saw them in before. We can't give them the exact same power, but what I started to realize was that I have the power on whether or not I even feel betrayed because I was the one that gave you the access.
Right.
Okay. Listen, Genevieve, you know something major. Let me get my tissue because that was tough. Because I give them access. So who can I really be upset with? Can I be upset with them? Or I have to be upset with me. I have to be upset with myself because I allowed that door to open for them to walk into betray me.
And we see signs.
Yeah.
We do.
And then we don't. You know what I'm saying? We
kind of brush it off
before we get there. Before we feel actual betrayal, we start to see things and then we let them go. And now we're betrayed because we betrayed ourselves. We said, I knew it. We always say that. I knew there's something. I knew. And so why didn't we trust ourselves to stop it from happening?
Angelica?
I would also say too, kind of the piggyback, oftentimes with betrayal, there's outsiders that can also see it where we don't. And because we are sisters and we have a good bond of sisterhood, we tend to overlook it. Like Genevieve said, she's like, we don't pay attention to it. And I think too, it's because we want to believe that they have the best interest for us. And I have been betrayed on many levels. And for me, I don't think I've truly ever gotten over it. I just kind of erased myself from that person and just continue to live life because I feel that once you betray me once, you're always going to do it. So why create and open that space for you to come back in again?
Right.
Aisha?
If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
betrayal. I've been betrayed, and before, I just stopped talking to the person. I know how to let go. Um, Obviously, it comes with me giving them, just chance after chance. But then when it's that harsh betrayal, and I feel like, you know what, no, I let go. So it's easy for me to let go when it comes to betrayal.
So we talk about let go. So we're going to tackle something.
Okay.
Because now we've learned Christian-wise, as Christian women,
Mm-hmm.
we can let go.
Mm-hmm.
But are you forgiving them in your let go process?
I do. For me, there's no, I left it where it was. I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. It's more so I've moved on. What we had, I would never talk about you. I would never say anything bad about you. Someone can come to me and be like, hey, how is X, Y, and Z? She's great. But I would never come and say this, oh no, I don't speak to her. No, it's nobody else's business.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, I know where I stand. I know where we stand. So it was time for me to move on. So that's what I decided to do. I moved on.
That's good. So as sisters, why do you think betrayal happened within the sisters group? Because, as friendship, as women, we have faced so much issues within the world. So women's supposed to be all safe. I should be able to go to my girlfriend and say, listen, I'm going through this. I'm hurt. So why do you think women betray each other so much?
Envy.
The biggest,
Yeah.
the biggest jealousy and envy.
Wow. So on that note, hey girl, let's talk about some loving. Listen, this is deep because the words say everything starts with love. And some of us, it's hard to love someone, friends. They slide on what they go through. And these are the moments I say, hey girl, that ain't it. I love you, but he ain't the one. So how do we tell one of our friends, I love you, but sis, leave him alone. He's not the one. So well, how do we do that, Genevieve?
I think that it's not like I love you, but it's more so like I love you, and because I love you,
Okay.
I need to tell you a couple of things, right? I normally will make the comment, hear this in love. I say that. I don't know if anybody else gives a disclaimer, but I say that. I said, hear this in love. I don't think, and I say whatever it is that I'm going to say, because I'm trying to let someone know, hey, I know that what I'm about to say may hurt you, but that's not my intention.
Right.
And if I do love you, I can't let this just happen without telling you.
Right.
That's good. So that's the new thing. Hear this in love.
Hear this in love. Hear this in
Hey girl,
love.
hear this in love. Just say it.
They hear it in love, Yeah, absolutely.
Angelica.
I think I'm more of a blunt person in a sense. I am. I don't say it to hurt you, but I say it because it bothers me as a sister that, you're with someone or you're doing something and it may not be, what's in your normal routine. So from a sister, I'm like, okay, well, what's bothering you? I don't think this person is great for you. Now, sometimes you have sisters who are not receptive and it throws kind of a dart. And it kind of puts a wrench in the sisterhood. So it just kind of depends on what's going on and how they how they take what you're saying, how they keep moving.
Listen, Aisha got come. Aisha had that side pimp down. You going to show what is telling you.
So the way that I always value people, everyone's different. Everybody receive the information different. I am, like you said, I'm very blunt, but I say things, I listen. And then I start to ask you questions and allow you as the sister to see what I see. So that's how I, speak and tell my girlfriend or friend, hey, he's not for you, or I think you should go by this way.
Yeah.
So I just ask questions. And then when I ask questions, you as my sister, you'll sit here and say, man, I think I just answered
my own question.
My own question. So that's how I do it. So
This world is going crazy now with this whole Jada and Will situation. as wives, as mothers, let's focus on some wife stuff. How do we handle being a wife? I know Genevieve, you're the only one in the group that is married. So tell us.
Okay.
Let's talk about some submission.
Oh,
That's been an issue of submission.
You know, so I've been married 9 years this year, and so I remember that when I first got married, because I'm so strong and I do business and I have things, people are always concerned, like, is Jen going to submit to her husband? And they made it a really big thing. Like, this used to be like a topic of conversation. And my answer to that initially, and even to my husband, I said, listen, honey, I'm a hard worker. So I can submit to a vision. What am I subbing to? Right? Everyone's like, submission, but that's coming under a mission. So what's the mission? And then I'll sub to that.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
That's good.
And it just helped him even like with being able to project what the vision was, you know, because marriage is like a car. Like when we get in the car, we talk to our GPS. Where are we going?
Right.
And it's easier to be a passenger when you know where you're going.
Right.
And so I think that a lot of times people are wondering, like, will I be able to submit? And you will be able to submit if you understand how he leads. And if you want to go where he's going, it's going to be easy to be the passenger. If you're fighting, I want to go to Orlando and you want to go to Georgia, and that's when we start to see this lack of submission.
Gotcha.
Is what people would say.
Oh, you know what I mean? If you say, what is the mission?
What am I subbing to? What am I subbing to?
What are you subbing? Listen, that's a hashtag. What are we subbing to?
What are we subbing to? Yeah, that's real.
So, Angelica, what is your view on submission?
So being that I am no longer married, and I once was a wife, I think Genevieve hit it. In order to submit, the man has to lead properly. And I think today that's the biggest hardship is that a man will present himself as a man, but he does not lead as a man. So it is kind of hard to submit as a woman when I don't even know where I'm going. And you said it. I think men are very ego in a sense. And when you do try to have that conversation and, you know, let them know, hey, I'm not, and they're just kind of throwing the wrench, like, oh, it's my way. You're not, you're going to shut down. And I think that was a problem for me in my marriage. It was just a shutdown and there was no more submitting. So we were just on this wheel of just spinning and we weren't going anywhere.
Okay, from a girlfriend ask.
Okay, so we're going to come, I'm not married, I haven't been married, but from a girlfriend aspect, man, submission, like the lady said, the guy have to properly lead.
Right.
If that guy can lead me, then I will follow. You understand? But if you're not leading me properly, I'm not gonna follow you. You understand? So I think to submit to a man, you have to trust this guy to lead you properly, right?
Yeah, and I think that to that point, right? Because sometimes with my husband too, right? He didn't know how to lead me.
Right.
And I think that we push that to saying, oh, well, he hasn't had a role model. My husband's parents have been married just as long as my parents, so they've both been married 40 years. But it didn't matter. That was their marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you still have to learn how to lead your life and what to do. And I think that sometimes we don't challenge good men to be great men by stretching them to lead. We'll say, oh, no, you're so good. You're not cheating on me. You're not cussing me out. You're not da-da-da-da. But that doesn't mean that he knows how to drive still.
Right.
Like, we still have to do some sort of like support, you know, and in the nicest possible way, say, if you realize that a man can't lead you and he's open, because that's what it's going to take, openness and willingness. If he realizes, hey, I just don't know how to lead, he has to be open enough to receive, you know, not necessarily like I'm mothering you, but that I can at least bring you to tools and resources maybe
That
that
takes
can
time,
help
right?
you lead,
That takes
the
time,
household.
right?
And it does.
Okay.
It does, because that person is not, they've been whoever they are all of their life.
Right.
So now they're realizing, almost like when we used to watch TV shows, when people found out that they were adopted and they thought everything was right,
Right,
up until
right.
that point. It's the same way. If he thought he was leading and now you're saying you're not, and there's no model to teach him, it's going to take time.
Right.
But as long as it's growing in the right direction, you'll be fine.
Listen, ladies, you're dropping some serious. I'm feeling a part two. So, hey girl, let's talk about balance. How do we find balance in being a wife, girlfriend, divorcee, mother, business owner? How do we find balance, Aisha?
Listen. Listen. I am a mother of a teenage son who is he's very, like, he loves doing like different clubs. He's a very like extrovert person. And it's challenging. But I am a firm believer that I have to be full in order for me to pour within the business, work, my son, my significant other. If I'm not full, there's no way that I can pour to anyone.
Yeah,
So
that's a key.
that's important for me. I have to make sure that I'm full, and that requires me eating right, sleeping well, and just literally having 1 hour to myself, whether it's meditating or just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So that's, for me, that's my balance.
Yeah.
Angelica, what's your balance?
I don't know what my balance is, honestly. I think when it comes to being a mom, I try to distinguish that and put it in its own category and just focus on being a mom. I think when it comes to work life, I try to focus that into itself by itself as its category. And when I was a wife, being a wife, I would separate that as well. What I can say, for me, which was the hardest, was being a new wife and being a new mom. My son is 5.
Okay.
And so at the state that I was married, raising a toddler, I was just going with the flow. It was just kind of hard for me. So I don't think I truly had a set balance. It was just trying to separate everything from itself and work on those things separately for me.
It's the same. I have like a combination. I don't have biological children. I have godchildren who think they came from me. Their parents get confused sometimes too. And then I have like my students and things that I've worked with, over the years, who still, they came from me too. And what I realize is that I have to do things one thing at a time. My husband will try to tell me something, and I'll say, honey, that's in 2 weeks. I need to focus on what's about to happen today. And that's just scripture too. Like tomorrow has its own concerns and its own worries. Like take care of what's in front of you right now. And that's helped me with stress. Because what I would find is that I was trying so hard, like, oh my goodness, I got to get ready for this. And it's 2 weeks out.
Right.
And by the time I got to the 2 weeks, what was bothering me 2 weeks ago is not even a concern right now. So how much time did I just waste that I could have been using to be productive? So I focus on what's in front of me at the moment. I plan ahead, but I don't focus ahead. I focus on what's in front of me.
Listen, plan ahead.
But focus on what's in front of me.
Genevieve giving us too much gems. Okay, Genevieve take you to the mountaintops and back.
Yeah, focus.
So, we focus, we dance, we tackle prayer, betrayal, love. But the most important thing is, hey girl, let's talk. Hope.
Yeah.
Hope is such a valuable aspect to life. Because without hope, there's nothing. That's how I look at it.
Right.
I cannot look at something and try to have hope in it. What am I? What's the use of pressing? So what does hope look like to you?
Hope is an interesting thing because I think that when you're hoping for the future, You hope for the best and you plan for whatever the Lord does, right, or whatever the Lord allows. But you can't ever get to a place that you're hopeless. Like I'll use for example the fact, like I said, we've been married 9 years and we don't have kids. We cannot lose hope that one day we will have them. And we're in a place now where we're like, if we don't have them biologically, there's enough children in this world to parent, you know.
Right.
But I think that the absence of hope is where we really start to see people get in a dark place. Like people really, I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about the fact that in life, it's really not like good or bad. It's just like peace or the lack thereof. When you think about it, right? Because if I don't have peace, then I'm probably not going to be the happiest person, right? But if I have it, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I'm in a peaceful place, you know. And hope kind of works that same way. When we don't have hope, you can't inspire anything. You can have all the right answers in front of you, but if you don't have hope, if I don't think I'm gonna lose the weight, it don't matter what you told me. I don't have hope that it's gonna work for me. And as long as I don't think it's gonna work for me, the door's gonna be closed.
And Angelica?
Hope for me would be wishful thinking.
Right.
And I say that because you can hope for a lot of things in life, and sometimes it doesn't go that way, and you start to lose hope. So then it's kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, what am I hoping for when everything that I have thought about has pretty much failed me? So where do I go? What does that look like? So for me, I would say wishful thinking. It just really depends on what the outcome is and how it's geared in life.
Okay, you can tell us what your hope means.
Hope. When I think of the word hope, or just hope itself, I think of it being utopia, like just perfect. You know, that's my vision when I think of hope. And then if let's just say there's a bump in the road, I just say, oh, that's just a hump. I'll get over it. But do I lose that hope? No, I don't lose that hope. I just think that there was an obstacle in my way, but I'm getting to that utopia world or that utopia vision that I had in my mind. I'm getting there. So for me, it's perfect is not a good thing, but that's my vision. Perfect.
So on that note, we covered so much great. Listen, it's good to have conversations with women, sisters. And for 2024, I'm coming with a mission.
Yes.
Fellowship over networking.
Absolutely.
I think we network, but then we lose each other in that network.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be pushing
Right.
fellowship over
Yes,
networking
I like
because it's very needed. We need to be able to hold each other accountable.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sis, I'm just checking on you today. What's going on?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
You know, just say, you know, I love you, girl. You're awesome. And Angelica coming to that office, I be having her. You know? And so it's very important that you find that circle.
Yes.
Right.
That's not the circle this season. Find your right tribe.
There you go.
Because God moving tribe. He, you know?
Right.
And we have to find the right set of people who can push us, motivate us.
Right.
And I'm your activator. So listen, part 2 is coming because this conversation was so well needed.
Awesome.
And it was a healthy conversation.
Yes.
Healthy. So I said, hey girl, let's talk. We talked it up today.
Yes.
We
Yes.
cover every relationship for men. If you're not leading, lead.
Please.
Listen, and please, let's try to say this. It's in love. It's in love.
I have to use that one.
Thank you for joining us. Listen. On the Hey Girl, Let's Talk. Stay tuned. Part 2's coming.